Hi, I'm Zaya Rowe from the New Jersey State Funeral Directors Association, here with a tutorial breaking down each section of your newly updated New Choices dashboard for your online Choices account. To follow along, please log on to the NJSFDA website by going to njsfda.org and clicking the Choices account button in the top right corner. To begin, log into your Choices account and open the pick list. From there, click the orange dashboard button. This will take you to the New Choices dashboard. On the left-hand side, you will see all the options you have to choose from. Let's start with the Trust Access Authorization form. All Reg 1 members automatically have full access to the dashboard. If you need to grant access to additional funeral directors or administrative staff, the Reg 1 must complete this form. Enter the individual's first and last name and select the appropriate access type. Please note, administrative staff cannot be granted all access or online account creation. If you are granting online account creation or all access to a licensed funeral director, you will be required to enter their license number. You may add multiple people at once by selecting Add an Individual. Click Next. On the next page, you will also have the option to revoke access. If no changes are needed, click Next. Enter your own first and last name and provide your signature. And move on to the review page. If all the information is correct, select Yes. Then you may print and submit the documents. Please allow up to 1 business day for the changes to take effect. Next, let's go over account maintenance. To update account information, select Update Information. Here you can process funeral home transfers, address changes, name updates, or social security number changes. On the form, start by entering the trust account number, the funeral recipient's first and last name and their social security number, and the purchaser information if different from the funeral recipient. Let's start with funeral home transfers. Select the box that says Funeral Home Transfer and click Next. Choose their current funeral home from the drop-down menu, or you can search it up using the search bar. Then their funeral home and contact information will populate. Below that, you will see your funeral home contact information. Enter the purchaser's first and last name and have them provide their signature and select Next. On the review page, confirm the information is correct, enter your own name, and sign, and then you may proceed. This will take you to the print stage. You will then print 2 completed general administration forms, one for the funeral home's records and one for the consumer. After printing, a pop-up will ask if the documents printed successfully. If so, select Yes to continue. Once submitted, documents cannot be printed again. Now let's go over how to complete a name or address change. Follow the same initial steps as before, then select the appropriate box, Name/Address Change, and select Next. You will then choose who the changes will apply to, the funeral recipient, purchaser, or alternate. If the changes are for the funeral recipient, you may select the checkbox, same as recipient, where it will pre-fill their first and last name. For an address change, enter the new address and then select who the confirmations and reports should be sent to. For a name update, you will enter the person's new name and then select the checkbox, the contact update is a name update, where you will be required to submit legal proof such as a marriage certificate or a divorce decree. And then you can select Next. This will take you to the review page to check for accuracy, where you will provide your first and last name and sign. Here you will be able to print the documents, one for your funeral home record and one for the consumer to take home. Then, if the documents have printed successfully, you will select Yes and submit the documents to Choices. Now, let's do a Social Security number change. You're going to complete the initial fields, the trust account number, the funeral recipient's first and last name, and purchaser information if different, and select the box that says SSN change, and hit Next. You're going to choose who the change belongs to, the funeral recipient or the purchaser, and enter their new social. You will then fill out the person's first and last name and have them sign. And select Next, which will take you to the review page, where you will enter your first and last name and provide your signature as well. Select Next, where you'll be able to go to the Print Documents phase to print one for the funeral home record and one for the consumer. If the documents have printed successfully, select Yes and submit the documents to Choices. Now let's go over the irrevocable conversion acceptance form. You will start by entering the funeral recipient's first, last name, and their social security number, then selecting Next. Then you will complete the purchaser's information. If the purchaser is the same as the recipient, check the Same as Recipient box. If the purchaser is an entity such as the Office of the Public Guardian, select the Purchaser is an Entity box. Once you select one of these boxes, the information will pre-fill. You will also have the ability to add an alternate contact. Please note, alternates can only receive mailings and have no legal authority on the account. Select Next. Here you will enter your funeral director name and license number. If you are the funeral home manager, check the box to indicate this. If not, leave it unchecked and provide the manager's license number and name. Next, you will complete the existing account acknowledgement by entering the date of the reported balance, the trust account number, their social security number, and the trust account balance. You will only need to provide an insurance policy number if there is an active short trust policy. Finally, you will confirm who should receive the confirmations and reports, the funeral recipient, purchaser, or alternate, and then you will enter the address the report should be sent to. And click Next. Here will take you to the review page. Once you have reviewed the information is correct, the purchaser will have to sign electronically, and you, as the funeral director, will sign as well. Select Next, where you will go to Print the Documents. Here, 3 copies of the documents will come out, one for the consumer, one for the funeral home record, and one for the consumer to provide their caseworker. If the documents printed successfully, you will click Yes and be able to submit the documents to Choices. Now let's go over the refund request process. First, you will enter the trust account number, and then you will verify account eligibility. If the account is not eligible for a refund, this pop-up will appear. Irrevocable accounts are not eligible for a refund request. If an account is revocable and eligible for a refund, you will be able to proceed. Here you will enter the funeral recipient's first and last name and the purchaser information, and then their social security number. You can select Next, where you will choose the refund type, either a full refund or a partial refund. If you choose partial refund, enter the requested amount. Please note, refunds that would reduce the account balance below 100 cannot be processed. Then you will check off who the refund check will be sent to, the funeral home or the purchaser. You'll select one box, and then you will enter your first and last name and provide your signature. Then select Next. Here will take you to the review page where you confirm everything is correct, and select Next, where you'll be able to print the refund request documents and then submit the documents to choices. Please note any refund requests received after 3 p.m. Monday through Friday will be processed on the next business day. Now let's move on to Current Ledger. Selecting Current Ledgers will automatically populate your most recent ledger to print or save electronically. Now let's move on to Return Tax Statements. Select Return Tax Statements to view any tax statements that have returned for the trust accounts under your funeral home. This form is available between March 15th and March 31st each year. To update any of the information, you may select Address Update, where you will enter the trust account number, the funeral recipient's first and last name, and their social security number. The purchaser's information, if different, and then you will select what you would like to do, a name or an address change, and who the updates are for. If it's for the funeral recipient, you will check that box and select Same as Recipient, where it will pre-fill their first and last name, and you can enter their new address. If this was for a name update, you would select the box, the contact update is a name update, and provide the legal documentation required to do so. For example, a divorce decree or a marriage certificate. Then you will select who the confirmations and reports should be sent to, and you will enter your first and last name and provide your signature. If you forget to fill out any of the information, it will highlight red and you will not be able to proceed forward. You can select Next, or it will take you to the review page to confirm all the information is accurate. Select Next. It will ask, is all the information correct? Select Yes. Then you will be able to print the documentation. If the document's printed correctly, you will select Yes, and then submit your documentation to Choices, and you can return back to the dashboard. Finally, let's review the supply order form. Here you can request any supplies related to Choices. You will enter the quantity needed for each item, then select Next, which will take you to the review page, and then you will submit. It will give a pop-up, is all the information correct? You will select Yes, and then your supply order will be submitted. Please note, supply quantities may be limited based on availability. And that will conclude the walkthrough of the Choices dashboard. Thank you so much for following along. If you have any more questions about how to create a Choices account online or how to navigate the new dashboard, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Trust administrators will be available to assist you by phone at 800-286-3628 or via email at choices@njsfda.org.